Liverpool and Manchester United is the biggest game in England. It's one of the biggest draws, one of the biggest games in all of the world, in Europe, in England, all over the world. Liverpool versus Manchester United is one of the best games to watch as a fan, as a kid, as a fan of the teams, as a neutral. That is one of the games you want to watch. A lot of history. The two biggest team in England going at it. I was very excited to watch it on Sunday. And I woke up to the news that Liverpool and Manchester United was in danger of getting rescheduled or getting postponed or getting pushed back because of fans that were invading Old Trafford for the game. The scenes were crazy. I think the Arsenal game was on versus Newcastle, and they just completely interrupted that game. They paused that coverage to show what was going on at Old Trafford. If you guys haven't seen the scenes that took place, the pictures, I'll put some on the video if you're watching on YouTube. If you're just listening, I'll put some links on the description so you guys could click on it just to see like the magnitude and how many people were actually there, what was going on. But it was crazy, like to see all those people congregating, joining forces to invade Old Trafford. They got on the pitch, they got on the bleachers, they got on the stands. They even got into the dressing rooms, the locker rooms. It was just complete mayhem. The NBC broadcast that I was watching called it like an embarrassment because that should never happen. And I for myself, I kind of understand where the fans are coming from. Like, yeah, they want to see new ownership. They don't believe that the owners, the Glazer family for Manchester United really has the best interest for Manchester United. They don't like where the team is going. They don't like how the team has been performing since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. They don't like that they try to join the European Super League. So I know where the fans are coming from, but this was a little too much. I mean, I don't think maybe I'm in the minority, but breaking into Old Trafford, although it is illegal and it is not something that I would personally do probably, I could see why they wanted to do that, to send a strong message. Yeah, protesting outside of Old Trafford, that would send a message. But if you get in, if you go into the pitch, and then I felt like that was a big message that had to be sent to the Glazer family. I'm not condoning it, but I could see why they would do it. But once authorities got in there and once the people that kind of like protect the stadium, not the police, but I forgot what they're called, but the people with the little orange jackets that keep you off the field when they have fans in the stadiums. Those people that were there, once they showed up and they told them nicely, because they don't have no weapons, they just have authority basically in the stadium. Once those people showed up and told them, "Hey, I get what you're doing. Like, let's get out of here," I think that should have been enough. That should have been like, all right, we did our thing. We got the headlines. We broke into Old Trafford. This is gonna make news. This is gonna put some pressure on the Glazer family. I think that was enough. I think that if they would have ended right there, I don't think I would have really had too much of a problem. Yeah, they did some trespassing, which I'm not condoning. One more time, I want to say I'm not condoning, but I could see why they would want to send like a very powerful message. But once they retaliated, once the police got there and they were still there, or once they started, like throwing flares into the bleachers, into the seats, once they started to make a ruckus, really like messing up the pitch and going at it with the police, throwing there was like reports that they were throwing like some dangerous stuff at the police. I think that's when you're like, okay, they're kind of like, this is more than just a riot, or like this is a riot. This is more than just like an invasion of the pit of the stadium to send a message to the Glazer family. This is just kind of anarchy. This is anarchy, and that's not what I like, because I don't want anyone to get injured. I don't want the people that work the stadium, that's their job, just to keep fans off the stadium, just to kind of protect it. They're not the police. They're just there to protect the players and keep people off the pitch when there's fans. I think I don't want any of those people to get hurt. Obviously, I don't want the police to get hurt for, however you may feel about the police. Obviously, we don't want anyone to get hurt. We don't even want the people protesting invading the pitch to get hurt either. But once it got violent, once they started throwing flares, once they weren't leaving, that's when I was like, okay, that's a little too much. I can see where you're coming from, but that's a little too much. Let's get out of here. I saw people bringing their kids to this. Like it seemed like it was a family outing for some people. It was like, hey, what are we doing today? We're gonna go to Old Trafford. We're gonna break in and we're gonna send a message to the Glazer family. But then it took on more than that, and that's when I was like, okay. But like when the Arsenal game was playing and they were showing the scenes and how they broke into the stadium, I was like, oh, these English people don't mess around. They really want to send a message. And I was like okay, like they're gonna get this message now. But once all that rioting stuff happening and the flares and like fighting back with the police, that's when I was like, okay, the message is getting lost a little bit. Now we're talking about how this is a riot, how the police had to interfere, and the main message got lost because I feel like they took too much. They were there too long. They would have just broken in, send a message like, hey, this is our team, this is our stadium. We want you out of here. This is our message to you. You know, there's a lot of us here. It's not just a couple people. There's a lot of us here sending the message. We're here in the stadium. You can see us. Look at us. Look how many of us. Look around. Like, this is our team. This is our stadium. All right, you know, thank you. Let's see Liverpool and Manchester United play. Or if they get the game postponed or they delay it a little bit, you know, whatever. But I think that would have been a good message. Like, oh, damn, they really broke into Old Trafford because they wanted to send a message. Damn. But now we're talking more about how they fought back with the police, how they went overboard, and I think the message got lost a little bit. But we'll see when they reschedule this Liverpool versus Manchester United game. Liverpool desperately need a victory to stay in the race. Tottenham won, West Ham won, Chelsea won, everybody around them won. Tottenham, Bale scored a hat trick, so they're heating up. West Ham came back and won, so they're still gritty. They're going to try to get that spot. Liverpool has to win. Liverpool needs this game. We'll see where they squeeze this game in. But it's a key game. It's one of the biggest games in Europe. So I'm very excited to see when they reschedule it. Hopefully soon. Hopefully they are able to fit in. It's not like a big chaos. And hopefully there's not another protest in that rescheduled time. But I do want to say this. Like, people knew that this was going to happen. It was no secret. People were planning it. People were saying that there's going to be a protest at Old Trafford and the security wasn't that good. So, hey, maybe the Glazers wanted this to happen. Maybe they knew it would go overboard and that people would forget about why they want them to leave. I don't know, but it was crazy scenes. If you guys haven't seen it, make sure to check it out.